I've mounted the front power cell and the front master cell up here in the foot box. You notice something's missing. I took out the steering column. It's pretty simple, 4 bolts and 1 set screw into the universal joint, and the whole thing comes out. And you quickly disconnect the motor drive for the tilt steering. And the whole thing pops out. That 5 minutes it takes to take that steering column out will save you an hour of aggravation getting in here with all the wiring and everything you have to do. So all the harnesses come labeled, and this is the power. These two are the power from the mega fuse. So these are supplying power to the power cell, and they go to 1 and 2, which this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and they just pop in there. And they can come back out also, so don't be worried about it. And then in the third position, power position, the cabin harness has a constant power that's fused. Let's make sure there's a fuse in there. There's a 30 amp fuse in there now, which will supply constant power up in the cabin. And that goes into number 3. So it's as simple as that, and then you have all your harnesses run. What I do is run everything before I start pinning things down, just to see how much I have to deal with. And these here are going into A and B of the power cell, which I've already labeled B, which is up. In the manual, it will show all this. Power cell 1, 2, 3, power coming in, B's on top, A's on the bottom, and then the comm lines 1 and 2. And the instructions go through it very well. All I did to mount it was hold it in place, mark one of the mounting spots, and drill it and tap it. Then I set that screw, put it with the power cell in place, and then did the same with another one, keeping it level to the floor. The body, the top here of the dash actually tapers down, so you don't follow that line, they'll all be crooked, and put it as far to this rail as I could. I put the power cell in the most accessible position because all the fuses are going to go in here. They're not in there yet. They're just mini fuses. This threads off. They tell you in the instructions, only put it on hand tight. So I don't know why there's slots there, just to tempt you to use a screwdriver, but only hand tight. There's a gasket inside to seal it up so it's weatherproof. And you can see the positions 1, 2, or 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the fuses to go into here once we're all set. We know this is the front cell because of the address. There's little push-on clips there which set that as the address. And again, in the manual, they show you which is which, and you really can't mistake in the front power cell for the rear power cell. And if you do, it's the exact same shape and holes, so you can just swap them out if you have a mistake somewhere along the line. So the master cell's also in there, and all the wiring harnesses stay within the cabin. This wiring goes again over to the mega fuse. This hooks into the cabin, and then you have a line that's going to run through the front firewall, and there's a massive plug, and we're going to cut a hole here in the front of the foot box that will go to the connector up front. This is Jasmine. She's a 1-year-old yellow lab. She's finally learning not to be afraid to come out in the garage. And she's probably telling me that it's getting close to dinner time. She's hard to believe she's only a year old. She's 90 pounds. She's a rescue. She came from Louisiana, long way away. She's a good girl. I'm going to show you the Mega Fuse panel up here again. Try to get a view of it up in there. As you can see, the power coming into the top of it, and then 3 lines on the bottom. 2 are going to the front power cell, and 1 goes to the rear power cell. And again, I've routed, temporarily just put them into place. The one going into the rear here, just because eventually I'm going to fasten all these lines going back together. I don't know why there it goes. The camera didn't want to focus. And get them all grouped together, cover them in one protective sleeve. And the rear power cell's going to end up right here on this panel. There, and that's what I'm going to do next. The CAN line is already temporarily just put into place so that I know it reaches to this spot, and that's going to plug in to the power cell in the rear. And the wire's just in there temporarily running across. I've got holes tapped and drilled already to fasten it in. And the CAN line is just running down along the side rail, and there's where it's going to go into the master cell.